Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness unto light. Lead us from death to immortality. You know this prayer from the Upanishads, if you look at what we chanted, it's exactly the retreat that we have been doing. Lead us from darkness unto light. It's a poetic way of putting it, but philosophically what we are doing is lead us from the object to the pure subject. Lead us from that which is insentient to that which is sentient. Darkness and light are consciousness and not consciousness. And lead us from the not consciousness to consciousness does not mean make us conscious. We are already conscious. Just the awareness, it has to be pointed out that we are consciousness. Because we have identified ourselves with that part, that is the body and the mind, which is not conscious in itself. And we have forgotten our nature as pure consciousness. So lead us from darkness unto light is actually, it means lead us from the not consciousness to consciousness. And the first sentence which we chanted, that's actually the theme of this session. Lead us from the unreal to the real. But strictly, if you translate the Sanskrit, Asato ma sadgamaya, lead us from that which is not, from the is not to the isness. Lead us from the appearance to the isness. Sat means pure being. Lead us from the appearance to the pure being. And the third line gives the consequence, the result of all of this. So what do we gain by all of this? Lead us from death to immortality. Mrityu mamritam gamaya. How do you lead us from death to immortality? We are that immortal being, but we don't know it. Just by realizing it. The Upanishad says, Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman is Brahman. Even if you do not know that you are Brahman, you're still Brahman, but you suffer. If you know that you are Brahman, you actually see it, then you can transcend suffering. This session is about isness, pure being. Brahman is often spoken of as Sat Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, in the second session, we saw Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Brahman is infinite existence consciousness. So that infinite consciousness aspect of it, we dealt in the first session and also in the second session. But in the third session now, we're going to talk about the infinite existence aspect of it. In Sanskrit, it's called Sat. Sat means that which is, isness, being. And this session is also going to be a struggle because I have the added responsibility of keeping you awake. We have added that extra isness in our tummies. You can feel the isness there. You can center yourself in the isness in the tummy. To me, there's this koan, a Japanese poem, not a koan, a poem, a haiku, a Japanese poem, which are in a particular meter, a short poem, a particular number of syllables, which captures to me the essence of isness. It's beautiful. And the experience of isness. It goes like this. The thunderstorms have stopped. The last clouds have gone. We sit, the old mountain and I, until only the mountain remains. This is the essence of isness. Think about it. We sit. The thunderstorms have gone. Life is calm. Nothing more is really going to happen in this life. It's going to go on like this till the end of the body. Very calm, very relaxed. I do not look forward to anything more happening in life. So I'm relaxed. The last clouds have gone from the sky. Desire, frustration, envy, jealousy, expectation, they've gone. I have nothing more to ask from life. We sit, the old mountain and I. Imagine a monk sitting at the foothill of a mountain, the old mountain and I, until only the mountain remains. Your sense of an individual entity. I won't explain. Explaining it spoils the thing. All right. So now, in this session, I'm going to rely on the second chapter of this book. In the first session, I relied on something from the first chapter of this book. In the second session, I relied on something from the third chapter of this book. And now, in the third session, I'm going to rely on something, base myself on the second chapter of the book, which deals with isness. There is an advantage to dealing with isness, a greater advantage than consciousness. It is this. When you talk about Brahman being all-pervading, everything is that one reality, it gets a bit hard to explain how consciousness can be all-pervading. Truly, honestly, if we look at ourselves, the only place we find consciousness, the only place, is within me. Dispute that? Why no protestations? Why, Swami, are we all zombies? Do you find consciousness only? What about all of these people? Are they not conscious? They could very well be, but I do not experience your consciousness. I can see your body, your behavior, your language. If I were a telepath, I would see your thoughts, but I would not see your consciousness. Is that puzzling? Look around. Where do you find awareness? Only within yourself. Only within yourself. Nowhere else. Everywhere you see, even living beings who are full of awareness, clearly, but you don't experience their awareness. What you find is a body, is a behavior, the sounds they make, the things they do. And you infer that just like I have awareness inside me, there must be something like that going on there and there and there. That's what we infer. In fact, in philosophy, there's a whole section, the whole subject called the philosophy of other minds. How do you know other people have got minds? How do you know you've got a mind? Because you experience it directly in the light of your own awareness. You have thoughts and emotions and feelings. What about others? You don't experience their minds. You experience their behavior and the body and the things they do, things they say. So how do we know that they have got minds? And it's actually a serious thing that philosophers discuss. Even now, if you take a philosophy book, there will be a few essays on the problem of other minds. The problem gets deeper when you talk about not only mind, but consciousness. The only place we find consciousness is within ourselves. And then if Vedanta comes along and says, consciousness is all-pervading, it's there, it's here, it's there, it's in the particles, it's in the sun and the moon and everywhere. It sounds nice, but how? We don't really feel it that way. What do we feel is exactly what we studied in the first session. I am a conscious being and everything else is an object of my experience. It's an object to my consciousness. Everything is what is lit up by the light that I am. But that I am everywhere, no. But if you take the approach through isness, sat, being, then the problem becomes much easier to solve. Because clearly, whatever there is. We exist in the midst of a vast ocean of existence, of being. What do I mean by that? Let's look at our experience. Whatever we experience, conscious or not conscious or whatever, clearly they exist. If they did not exist, you would not experience it. Right now, the book exists. My hand which is holding the book exists. Here is this person sitting here, exists clearly. The chair exists, otherwise I would be on the floor pretty fast. Exists. All the people here exist, is, the man is, woman is, chair is, hall is, even the space between us is. Otherwise you couldn't pack so many people in if there was no space. You say space is nothing. If it was nothing, then why would you calculate how many people can come in here and how many cannot? Clearly it is something. It has an isness. Even space is. The sky is. An atom is. A dolphin out there is. A galaxy is. The sun out there is. A lot of isness there. Big sun. So, is. Being. Now the thing is, we normally do not think that way. Just as we miss pure consciousness, we also miss pure being. We do not understand it. The way we think is this. We think things exist. People exist. Books and chairs and table exist. But if you ask me, think about existence itself, isness itself, you might say, that's not a real thing. What's a real thing? A thing existing is a real thing. Isness by itself, whoever has seen isness by itself? Nobody has. I'll tell you why we have not. Let's take an example. The ocean out there and the waves which come pounding in. One way of looking at it is each wave has water. The waves have water. Another way of looking at it is the water appears as waves. Do you see the difference in the two things? Let me put it more sharply. Is water in the waves or waves in the water? Water in the waves, that's one answer. Waves in the water, which is more logical? Waves in the water. Do you know why? Because before it was a wave, what was it? Water. When it is a wave, what is it? Don't say, it's a wave, Swami. Yes, it's a wave, but what is it actually? The material. When you touch it, what do you touch? Water. You get wet. It's water. And after the wave subsides into spray and foam and all, what's it? Water. If the strong sun vaporizes it and it rises up into the sky as vapor. But what vapor? Water vapor. So before it's a wave, when it's a wave, after it's a wave, it's still water. Therefore, it's more logical to say waves exist in water. Not water is in the wave. Water is more fundamental, wave is less fundamental. It's the same water which is the wave, which is the same water which is foam, which is the same water which is spray, the same water which is water vapor. It's the same water in a tsunami wave, it's the same water in a tiny bubble. So water is fundamental, waves are not fundamental. They depend on water. Think about it another way. We thought about it this way. First it was water, next it's water, and afterwards it's water. Now think about it another way. If I take all the water away from a wave, what remains? Don't say a little bit of salt, Swami. So what remains? Nothing. Even the mightiest tsunami wave, if you drain all the water away from it, it is powerless. It's nothing. Even the outline won't be there. It won't even be a ghost of a wave. Nothing remains without water. But if the wave form goes away, what remains? The water remains as it was, no diminution. It's exactly the same. So from that point of view also, water is fundamental, not the wave. Now, apply this example in a strange way, which Vedanta wants us to do. Instead of thinking of this world of our experience as people existing, things existing, even ideas existing, think of it as existence. Now I'm going to reinvent language. Existence peopling, existence tabling, existence chairing, existence atoming and galaxying and dolphining. It's an ocean of existence. Look around you. Try to look in this way. It's an ocean of being. And in that ocean of being, the waves are the individual people and the objects, and the stars are big waves, and the little atoms and quarks are tiny, tiny waves. But they are all waves in the ocean of existence. The ocean of existence plus the network of name and form. What is the difference between all these things? They are all the same as existence. But name and form, Vedanta calls it Maya. Name and form is a net, like a net thrown upon this ocean of existence. What does it do? It creates difference, big and small. It's not more existence and less existence. It's existence, the bigness is in the name and form. Smallness is in the name and form. Good and bad. I'm actually quoting Vivekananda here. It is that existence first, then we color it with our good and bad. We call it good and bad. It's that existence, he says, Sat. The difference, name and form creates difference. Man, woman, big, small, learned, ignorant, a galaxy, an atom. These are differences caused by name and form and function. But the reality is existence. In fact, another word for existence is reality. And we'll try to go ahead with this. What Vedanta says is, we shall try to extract this existence from its network of names and forms. That's the theme of the third session. We'll try to extract this existence from the network of names and forms. And immediately you will find something strange. You will find that existence, apart from the network of names and forms, is you. The existence of the universe is you. The real you. You are that existence, Brahman, Sat, on which the universe is painted. Think about existence as an easel, as a canvas, where the great artist Maya paints the masterwork called the universe. But the canvas without which no painting can exist, that canvas is pure existence. And you are that pure existence. The problem is, it is hidden from us by a network of names and forms. Whenever you point to something, nobody says existence. Would they say, here's a man, here's a woman, here's a table, a chair, a bird, sun and the moon. Nobody says, here is existence wearing the name and form of the moon. There was a little boy, this story I heard from a Swami in the Himalayas, little boy who had never seen a film. Now that takes some imagination. Today, thanks to Bollywood and Hollywood, everybody's seen a film. But imagine there's a boy who has not seen a film. And his father takes him to the city to show him a film. And on the way, he explains, what is a film? There is a screen. There'll be a screen. And pictures will be projected on it, moving pictures. And there'll be sound, and that's a film. Now when they enter the hall, here is the rub. When they enter the hall, the movie has already started. The hall is dark and the movie has started. So that's the problem. If we see the beginning of the movie, we would have no problem at all. But we are thrust into the middle of the movie. So many generations of our parents and ancestors are there, the worlds are there, the stars and the moon and everything is there. I'm thrust into it. And already preschool and kindergarten and school all are prepared for me. I have no way of stepping back and examining the screen on which the movie is playing. So the movie has started. And this boy sits with his father and starts watching the movie. And in the first part of it is enthralled, like us. And in the middle of life, we are enthralled by life. We enjoy, we suffer, we seek, we are disappointed, we find something nice, something bad. And it goes on. After some time, the boy has an inquiry. He asks his father, so this is a movie. Which is the screen you spoke about? Imagine it's the Mahabharata movie, the great war where the Gita is being taught or whatnot, something. That's the example I gave. And the father says, the screen, why? It's right there in front of you. Oh, you mean Krishna is the screen? No. Behind Krishna. There's a picture of Krishna on the screen. Behind Krishna. Behind Krishna, that's Arjuna. No. Behind them both, the chariot. No. Behind all of them. Oh, the sky is the screen. No. You just remove all of that. The sky and the chariot and the battlefield and the Krishna and Arjuna, all of that you remove and what remains is the screen. You see, that means nothing is the screen. That's all that there is. There's Arjuna and Krishna and the chariot. So you mean the screen is nothing? No, not nothing. All of it. Behind it is the screen. And the boy says, all of it. Okay, that means the chariot plus Krishna plus Arjuna plus the sky and plus the battlefield is called the screen. What will the father do? Whatever he points to, there's a picture there. and the boy takes the picture to be the screen. We are doing exactly the same thing. The screen is pure existence, and it's you. But we take it to be man, woman, because we have first of all taken ourselves not to be pure existence, but to be this body and mind. Immediately everybody else becomes body and mind for us. And this world appears before us. Pure existence, the background is lost. What do you do? What's the way out? Now, the technique which we will use today is this. In this book and also in Shankaracharya's commentary on the Gita, 2.16, in Gita 2nd chapter, 16th verse, where he dwells on pure existence. He says, every experience has two parts. You'll immediately note the similarity between the first session and the second session. The first session we went into consciousness. Here in the second session we'll see the isness. Every experience has two parts. We concentrate on one and ignore the other, usually. It says, what is this? A man. Shankaracharya says, no, you are experiencing the existence of a man. Man is. What do you experience? Do you experience man is not or man is? Yeah, man is. Woman is. Book is. So this is the first step to take. That in every experience we have actually two experiences. One unchanging experience of isness and the other a changing experience of name and form. Are you with me? Or are you disappearing into isness? One a changing experience of name and form, the other the unchanging experience of isness. Remember, Shankaracharya says very clearly, we actually experience isness, though we can't pin it down. But don't you feel presence, isness, being, existence? We do feel it. We can't just quantify it. We can't just put it into words. It's like, I think it was Saint Augustine who said, time, he spoke about time. If you ask me not, I know what it is. But you ask me to tell it, then I know not. Words like time, space, we know what it is, but try to define it, very difficult. They are so fundamental, very difficult to define it. More fundamental than time and space and matter and energy is isness, existence, being. There's this book, very fascinating book, written recently, Jim Holt. Why does the universe exist? And he's a journalist, and it's a very fascinating book. He asks this question to theologians, he asks this question to mathematicians, to physicists, to philosophers. He didn't ask it to a Vedantist, but... So he goes around to poets. Why is there existence at all? There could have been just nothing. Why is there existence at all? He says it's the most difficult question. Every other question comes after that. Of philosophy, science, religion. Even God. God must exist. You have to have a choice. A non-existent God or existent God. So existence is more primary than God himself. So existence, every experience, we have two parts right now. And one is the changing name and form. The other one is the unchanging isness. The changing name and form, they come and go and it perishes. When somebody asks a question, that pot exists. That's your analysis. Pot exists. All right. Suppose I smash the pot, and then what will you get? Pot does not exist. So where is your precious existence? Existence is also gone. But he says, no. Wait a minute. Broken pot exists. Yes, confidently. You made a mess. Broken pot exists. Clearly, broken pot existence still is there. The name and form has changed. Earlier the name and form was pot. Now the name and form is potsherds or broken pot. You pound it further into clay, into powder. Powder exists. Pound it into atoms. Atoms exist. Existence continues. Then somebody asks, suppose I totally wipe out all the pots in the world, in the universe. Then he says, the cot exists. The cot or the table exists. Now he asks a really profound question. Suppose I wipe out all things of the universe. Suppose the universe itself is destroyed. In Hindu cosmology, a time comes when the universe is destroyed and later again recreated. But there's a cycle of existence, preservation and destruction. So there will be a time when the entire universe is wiped out. Nothing exists except Brahman, pure existence and the power of Maya. But suppose someone says, I wipe out everything that exists. So where is your precious existence? What he's trying to prove is the crucial philosophical question. You're trying to make me buy the proposition that there is something called existence, independent of things which exist. I'm saying that you're just playing a clever word game. There are only things which exist. There is no thing called existence in itself. So if I wipe out all things, just make an experiment in your mind, everything in the universe is erased, then what happens to existence? The profound answer is, existence still continues, but it cannot be experienced anymore. It cannot be appreciated anymore. It's just like pure consciousness. If you have a thought or a feeling, then you are aware of consciousness. No thoughts, no feelings, just blankness. Similarly, if all things which exist are wiped out, existence, you, the pure existence, still continues, but there's no way of experiencing you because there is no name or form. It's only when names and forms are projected, then things come into existence. And then you can experience cats and dogs and tables and chairs and planets and quasars and all that. So this is the point. Now, this pure existence, apart from the things which exist, we are always aware of it. And this pure existence is my real nature. The entire universe of names and forms borrows existence from you. Somebody asked this question. Oh, I am pure existence. I am everywhere as pure existence. But I don't feel that. I feel I am here, I am not there. Clearly I am not there. I am here. I feel I am here, I am not there. And the answer was very interesting. Here and there, are they not too also in existence? The concepts of here and there, the feeling of here and there, the feeling of time, here and there, it also depends on existence. The feeling of space and the feeling of time, now and then, past and present and future, that also depends on existence. Without existence, no past, no present, no future. Time cannot be without existence. Even the concept of here and there, that's also imagined within existence. Now back to the boy who was watching a movie. How will you teach him about the screen? I heard a very nice answer. Turn off the movie. I don't know if movies nowadays have intervals. When we were kids, the movie used to be shut off for a few minutes. You could go and get popcorn or something like that. And you could see the screen. Turn off the movie. That's the yogic path. Yeah. What you do is erase the world experience. And you clearly see, even without the universe, without the body, without the mind in samadhi, you are still very much there. And when the world comes back, pops back into existence, it depends on your existence. It borrows existence from you to pop back into existence. That happens in samadhi. When you switch off the movie and the child sees the screen, then you switch on the movie again. But there is another way, which is the way which we are doing. Then the movie will be obscured. What you can do is, you can explain to him the difference between the movie and the screen, so that in understanding, that's exactly what we are doing here. In understanding, he gets an understanding of what can be the screen and what can be pictures. I see only a few heads nodding. I'll repeat that again. There is one way is to switch up the movie. That's the first reaction. Switch up the movie, you can see the screen. But think this way. After the boy has seen the screen, when you switch on the movie, there are pictures again. But will the boy be confused? Why not? There are pictures. There were pictures earlier, the boy was confused. Now there are pictures, why is the boy not confused? Right. It's not that he has seen the screen. All the time when he was watching the movie, what was he seeing except the screen? He was only seeing the screen with pictures on it. The pictures themselves have no existence apart from the screen. Take away the screen, no pictures. So, actually, all the time when he was watching a movie, he was seeing pictures, true, but on the screen. He was actually seeing the screen. That light was bouncing off the screen back to his eyes. Now also he's seeing the screen plus the pictures. But what's the difference? She hit the nail on the head. Right knowledge. Now he can differentiate between screen and pictures, the screen and the movie. That's not an experience. It's the same experience. He's still seeing the movie. But that's understanding. He knows what's the screen. He knows what's a picture. Once he knows that, he knows the screen alone is real. The pictures and sound, the film is an appearance on the screen. Similarly, pure existence alone is real. Everything else that appears on the screen of pure existence is a picture, a movie. How does this help us? This is what Vedanta says, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Brahman alone is real, the world is an appearance. Or as Sri Ramakrishna would put it, God alone is real, everything else is false. It literally means that if the ultimate reality is isness, existence, everything other than is becomes is not. Everything other than existence, non-existent. So if there is anything in this universe which is other than existence, it's non-existence, it's an appearance. Now it's a great freedom. Why is it a great freedom? Imagine, there is only one place where you can appreciate suffering, evil. You can actually appreciate and applaud evil. Where? In Hollywood, in movies. The most terrible thing, the most terrible disaster, King Kong coming and smashing all of New York or something like that. And you applaud and say, give that guy an Oscar. Why do you do that? Because you know it's false. It's play acting. It's just pictures. Nothing, no harm has been done. It's a wonderful performance. Let alone King Kong. If a little monkey actually came into the hall, people would run screaming. Yeah. That's the difference between appearance and reality. Reality belongs to isness, which you are. Appearance borrows some of that reality from isness and makes this world. This world becomes a movie. Once you separate in your understanding the isness from the appearance and center yourself in the isness. In me, the pure existence, the movie of the world appears. Then I will enjoy it. Every suffering, every happiness, it all becomes enjoyment. It's Hollywood. I can do the best. You don't become heartless. If somebody else is suffering who's not enlightened, you will try your best to enlighten that person and to alleviate his or her suffering. It may even be material elevation. Right? The person who's not enlightened is trapped in the movie. And the person who's enlightened is still in the movie but realizes I am the background screen on which this movie is being played. The background screen is one. We are all one there. And it's immortal and unchanging. Many movies can play there, one after another. That background existence is same everywhere. Differences are created by name and form. This chapter tells us there are three kinds of differences. What are the differences? First, difference between one thing and another kind of thing. Say a cat and a dog, or a tree and a car. Two different kinds of things. They're different. They're called difference in class or species. Vijatiya bheda in Sanskrit. Difference of type, of category, of classification. Different. The second type of difference is difference within the same class. One tree and another tree. Or one cat and another cat. However you classify. So two things of the same type. And the third type of difference is within the same object there are parts. The cat has legs and a bushy tail and ears and a head and a belly. They are all different parts of the same entity. In Sanskrit, the difference between different things of different types is called Vijatiya bheda. One between two things of the same type, one cat and another cat, is called Sajatiya bheda. And the difference within a cat, parts of a cat, is called Swagata bheda, internal difference. Now the point here is pure existence. The three types of difference do not apply to pure existence. The three types of difference do not apply to pure existence. Why? First of all, difference between one type of thing and another type of thing. You can immediately tell me the logical problem will happen. Something other than existence, what will happen to it? Something other than existence? Something other than cat? Non-cat. Something other than existence? Non-existence. So if something is different from existence, it disappears immediately because it cannot exist. It's other than existence. Now within the same type, one cat and another cat, can you have one existence and another existence? No. The difference between existence and existence, movie and movie, is in the pictures you show. The screen is the same. It's one existence. Names and forms are different. So the existence of one thing and the existence of another thing are not different. It's just the name and form of the things which are different. The functions are different. You take a lump of clay, the classic example. Somebody makes a pot out of it. So it looks like a pot, and it's called a pot, and you can use it like a pot. And somebody melts it down or something, and then makes a pitcher out of it. Now it looks different. It looks different, form is different, name is different, pitcher, and function is different. But the material remained the same. Right? So, between two things of the same type, existence, there is only existence. There are not two existences. All existence is one. And third, are there parts of existence? Can existence have parts? Like a cat has legs and tail and a head. Existence cannot have parts. It's one and homogeneous. A subtle question is asked here. What about name and form? You said this universe is existence plus name and form. Aren't names and forms parts of existence? You'll immediately say no. Movies are not part of the screen. The movies you play on the screen are not part of the screen. If you switch up the movie, the screen is not diminished. If you start a movie, the screen is not increased thereby. They are not parts. They are projections on the screen. The names and forms of this universe are projections of Maya on pure existence. So the three kinds of difference, bheda, swagata bheda, sajatiya bheda, vijatiya bheda, difference within itself, difference of the same kind, difference of different kinds, all these differences are erased when it comes to pure existence. And you are that pure homogeneous existence where there is no difference at all. All difference is projected by Maya. I think I'll stop now before we go into the meditation. Questions? Yes, okay. Let's see. There are questions there.
So, when you said earlier that we can only
wait for the microphone. Yes, it's being recorded. Yes.
We can only find awareness in ourselves.
Yes.
And then when you just said, I don't quite have this.
Existence is everywhere.
Existence is everywhere.
Yes.
It's always aware. If there's no separation of those three things you just said, how could I sometimes have the experience, like when I listen to you,
yes,
I'm more aware. Through your awareness is what I'm guessing. So if there's no distinction between isness, my existence is your existence.
Yes.
And I might experience, there is no me that's different than you.
Yes.
That's where
ultimately,
I'm stuck.
Ultimately, yes. There's no me different from you, but the differences are caused by the pictures projected on existence. What are the pictures? The first picture is a mind. And it has senses. And it has a body. The moment you have a mind with senses and a body, immediately your sense of existence becomes localized. You feel, I am there, not here. Even the sense of awareness becomes localized. You feel, I am aware here, but not here, anywhere here.
So there are moments where, if that's gone, there is
that one unit of existence. It's always there. Sometimes mystics access it. The path of knowledge tells us, even if it does not seem that way, even if it does not look that way, even if it looks like a movie, know for sure it's a screen. Even if it looks like a movie, even if the most horrible things are happening there, know that nothing is happening. It's a screen with pictures. And you are that screen. You are that isness. Think about it. You are experiencing something in life. A cup of coffee. You're sitting and sipping a cup of coffee or eating a sandwich. Now, just take one thing away from it. Suppose you close your eyes, you don't see it. Still, you're eating the sandwich. You can taste it, you can feel it, it feels crunchy, you can holding it. You're aware of your own existence, you're aware of the chewing of the mouth, all these things you're aware of. Suppose you remove one more thing, you can't hear anything. You can still taste it, right? And it goes on in this way. But suppose you remove your own existence, then what happens to the experience? It's gone. It disappears. So the experience of life fundamentally depends first of all on your isness, on your presence. Everything else is secondary.
And there's only one screen.
There's only one screen. That's what this thing pointed out. Why can't we say that there are different screens? Because different screens means different existences. How would you distinguish between one existence and another existence? You cannot distinguish between one existence and another existence. The distinctions are only in the pictures, in the names and forms. Yes, there was a question there at the back. I'll come to you. Yeah. Somebody raise your hand here. Raise it boldly.
Swamiji, this topic of Maya is something that is very hard to grasp, and the reason I ask is,
A little more loudly.
are
Yes.
you my appearance in my or borrowed consciousness, or you are a real thing? Is this lecture a real thing?
Yes. Is this lecture a real
How do
thing?
I know for sure?
Right. Is this lecture a real thing? Now take it this way. Again, it's a good question, but you can immediately apply that analysis. This lecture is clearly an experience. Now your question is about the status of that experience. You're asking a question like, is it real? That you are experiencing it, you cannot deny, right? Right? You cannot deny that. Now, what you are experiencing, is it real? Common sense will tell you yes. If there's a video camera recording everything, later you could see you were present in that experience, in this hall, and you saw that you were here. Common sense tells you, yes, this is a real experience. You are not dreaming. We are all here. Common sense tells you that. But if you go a little deeper into uncommon sense, do a little analysis here. Use the same technique. This experience is. Separate the isness of this experience from the names and forms. Separate means in your mind, in your understanding. Clearly the names and forms keep changing. The isness is constant. Now my question to you is, suppose this was false. Suppose you were dreaming it. Even in your dream, the isness would be there. Just the contents of your dream would be false. Are you following me? When you wake up, you say, oh, I dreamt it. I missed the Vedanta seminar. You didn't, but I missed it. I was dreaming about it. But the isness was constant. The isness is constant in your waking. The isness is constant in your dreaming. The isness is constant even in your deep sleep. What comes and goes is waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. What comes and goes are the movies. Sometimes they are movies, you call it a waking experience or a dream experience. Sometimes the movies are switched off, you call it deep sleep. But the screen is always there. Blank screen or screen full of pictures. Vedanta wants to point out the screen and tell you that you are the screen, you are the presence, not a picture. Then what can you do? You don't have to switch up the movie. The yogi tries to switch up the movie to enjoy the screen. The screen by itself is boring. Why not enjoy life? Watch an award-winning film, Oscar award-winning film. Let the movie of life go on. In this chapter, he makes a very interesting point. He says, God's creation, this is Maya's creation. Actually, technically in Vedanta, they say Brahman plus Maya is what is called God in Vedanta. So it's projected by Maya. God through Maya, or Brahman through Maya, this is projected. The movie is the director of the movie. Now, he makes 3 points here. First of all, you cannot switch off the movie. You might do it once in a while if you practice a lot of meditation and go into samadhi. But even after samadhi, you have to come back from samadhi into this world. It's not going to stop. So you cannot really erase this universe. We have so little power. Can you actually destroy the universe? No. Can you actually shut out the universe in samadhi? No. That also will come back after some time. That's number one. You cannot destroy this. Second, you need not destroy it. Why switch off the movie? Enjoy the movie. Watch as many movies as you like. And if you're tired, then switch off the movie and take rest. And then watch a movie again. This life goes on. The background is Brahman, Satchidananda, which you are. Once you realize that, every experience in life becomes a movie for you. There are different, I'll come to you. There are different attitudes. People might say, okay, it becomes a movie for me, but what about other suffering people who are unenlightened? The Bodhisattvas Vow in Mahayana Buddhism is, I know it's a movie, but others don't know. So I'll keep coming back into the movie again and again to enlighten people. Look, you're not a picture, you are the screen. The vow of the Bodhisattva, which the Dalai Lama takes, all the Mahayana Buddhists take, that I'll keep coming back into the movie to tell everybody else that, look, be enlightened. So that's the second point I'm making. Listen, you need not stop the movie. There's no need. And third point is, you should not stop the movie. Why? Because in the movie, right here in the movie, is Vedanta. The Vedanta is part of the movie. Santa Barbara Temple, no, he really says it in this book. All the means of enlightenment are available within the movie itself. If you want to come out of it, it's right here. If you switch it off, if you go into deep sleep or samadhi, how will you get enlightened? You have to work your way out. Swami Vivekananda put it in another way. There is no way of fleeing from this machine. Learn how to work the machine of Maya and it will set you free. You cannot run away from it. You can't switch it off. The story of King Janaka, the great emperor, I've told this a number of times, but it's particularly relevant to this question. I'll come to your question. I know that you're asking a question. The emperor, the mighty emperor, who was a wise man, enlightened person, and also, so he was sleeping and then suddenly awakened. The guard came and said, Emperor, sire, please wake up. The enemy has attacked. We must go and defend the empire. And the emperor is suddenly all busy. Put on my armor, give my sword, and call the army and the generals, and we must go out to battle. He goes out and fights this terrible battle, and he's injured, wounded in the battle, and he loses the battle. He's captured by the enemy and dragged before the enemy invader. And the enemy says that, look, your empire is now my empire. Since you are of royal blood, I shall not execute you, but you are banished from your empire. Get out from here before I change my mind. And poor Janaka, he limps his way through his capital, is asking for water. Nobody gives him water because they're afraid of the new despot who's cruel. Nobody gives him food or help. Finally, 3 days later, he crosses the border. It couldn't have been a very big empire. Anyway, and then he crosses the border and goes to the neighboring kingdom, and he finds poor people are being fed there, so he stands in queue. And when he comes to the head of the queue where food is being given in the bowls, they say, well, all the food is finished, but a little is remaining at the bottom, the gruel. Do you want that? Janaka says, anything, for the love of God, give me anything. I'm terribly tired and wounded and suffering. So they take a bowl and fill it with whatever horrible stuff was at the bottom. They give it to him. With trembling hands, he's going to sip it. A kite swoops down and knocks it from his hand. And it goes rolling in the dust and he falls down. It's in Sanskrit they say ha-ha. In Sanskrit, ha-ha means just the opposite of what it means in English. It means, ha-ha means alas in Sanskrit. So, saying alas, he rolls on the dust and he wakes up in his bed. Heart pounding. And he looks around. Now, at that point, if we were there, we would have said, oh, thank God, it's a dream, it's a nightmare, my God. But he's a philosopher, so he says, was that true or is this true? Was that? Maybe I fainted. Maybe I'm rolling in the dust and I fainted and now I'm dreaming this. Was that true? Is this true? Like the Chinese philosopher Chuang Po, who was dreaming of a butterfly and woke up and he said, am I a philosopher who's dreaming of a butterfly or a butterfly who's dreaming that he's a philosopher now? So like this, the king says, was that true or is this true? And the guard who comes and says, he's flummoxed. He doesn't know what to say. He goes and calls the queen. And the queen says, old man, what's it at this hour again? And he says, was that true or is this true? And the queen gets nervous. She calls the doctor. The doctor takes the pulse of the emperor and says, oh, sir, what is hurting? Is there something wrong? Was that true or is this true? And the minister comes and there's always, was that true or is this true? Next in the court, he's sitting there, was that true, is this true? And there's the Grapevine, it spreads across the town. The emperor has gone crazy. And the sage Ashtavakra comes into the town. And he hears this, and he comes to the court of the king. And he comes to the court of the king, and he asks the king, how is it going? And the king says, the emperor says, was that true or is this true? Now the sage Ashtavakra, who knows the mind of the emperor, he says, O emperor, when you were rolling in the dust in defeat and despair and in pain, was this empire, your queen and armies and pomp and splendor, was all of this there at that moment? And the emperor says, no. And right now, when you are sitting in the midst of your power and splendor, everything is going so well, that defeat and despair and humiliation, is that here right now? He says, no. Then, O emperor, neither that is true nor this is true. But wait, the emperor is a philosopher. He is shocked to his core. Is nothing true? Then Ashtavakra says, wait. When all that, which is not true, but you experienced it, right? You were there. Yes. And this, not true, but you are experiencing it, right? You are here. Yes. Then, O emperor, neither that is true nor this is true, but you are true. You are the truth. And what are you? Not even the body. Because the body in the dream was different, the body here is different. Not even your circumstances, not even your thoughts. That existence consciousness, you put sessions 1, 2 and 3 together, that isness awareness, which saw the dream, which is seeing this waking, that isness awareness continues unchanged. That alone is true. You are that immortal isness awareness. There was a question, we'll come to you. One here and then 1, 2 will go.
Yeah. We're talking about the projecting power of Maya right now, and something that struck me when you were talking about the 5 sheaths, and we get to the Ananda Maya Kosha.
Yes.
And what about the veiling power? It seems almost impossible to pierce the veiling power of Maya.
Right.
To see.
Good. I'm glad you asked this question. It makes my job easier. You see, technically, Maya, the power, is supposed to have 2 powers, 2 functions. One is veiling. Veiling means it does not allow us to appreciate that we are existence, consciousness, bliss. It's the power by which God is pretending to be not God. So we find it very difficult to think that we are not the body and mind, we are an immortal awareness, consciousness, bliss. We find it very difficult to grasp that. That is the veiling power of Maya. 1. 2, the projecting power of Maya. What is the projecting power of Maya? It projects you, Brahman, as this universe. It projects you, Brahman, pure existence, pure consciousness, as this universe, including body and mind. 2 powers. It hides you from yourself, the true you from yourself. And second, it projects that Brahman, the pure existence consciousness, as this universe. Now, what we just said was that you don't have to wipe out the projection. Let the projection continue. You cannot wipe out the projection. As an individual being, you cannot. It's God's projection. How will you switch off? You can't even switch off a movie in a movie theater. You'll get arrested. It's not your movie to switch off. But what you can do is realize it's a movie. While sitting in the theater, watching the movie, you can realize it's a movie. Then you will not be affected by the movie and you will enjoy the movie. So what you have to do is overcome the veiling power of Maya. The projecting power of Maya can continue after the veiling power of Maya is overcome. Brahman appearing as the universe is fantastic. It's joy. It's bliss. The great enlightened person like Ramana Maharshi or Ramakrishna or Vivekananda, they are such joyous individuals. They didn't think, oh, it's a false world, it's terrible. There's a real Brahman somewhere out there. No. They found, when you see Vivekananda says, deify everything, see God in everything. See God in everything means overcome the veiling power. Overcome the veiling power means you continue to see the movie, but you see that it's a movie. Behind it is the same screen. And that screen you are. I don't know if it's becoming too complicated. There is a question there.
Why does resting in isness lead to joy?
Right. You see, if we are not resting in isness, most of the time we are not, then we are in limitation. I am this body cut off from all of you. You are others. Some I like, some I dislike, some I am indifferent to. Being in this body and this mind, I have certain needs and desires and fears and anxieties. All limitation because I am attached to this thing. Being in this body and mind, attached to a name and form, I become very much part of the plot of the movie. Forgetting that it's a movie. Realizing that you are the isness, the background isness, the presence all the time, you still continue like this. Nothing will happen, nothing will change here in the movie. The movie will go on as it is. But you are completely relaxed. First of all, you get a sense of limitlessness. You are not only that, you are that person and the table and the chair and the sky and the earth, and you actually feel that. Even if you don't feel it, you understand it. It's like this, like a wave which suddenly realizes, I am water. Then what happens? As a wave, when you thought it was a wave, I'm a wave. Here is a big wave, I'm scared of it. Here's a tiny wave, I'm contemptuous of it. And not only that, I'm rushing towards Santa Barbara, I'll hit the shore and I will be destroyed, I'll die. Envy, fear, competition, anxiety, and death. Why? Because I'm a wave. The moment I realize I'm water, then I am this, I am that too, I am this too, I have no envy there, I have no contempt there, and death holds no fear for me. What will happen? I'll burst into spray. That's also me. I'm water. You get a sense of limitlessness. There are no boundaries. There will be nothing here that stops you. Somebody put it very beautifully. Once you begin to think this way, she said, I don't tend to bump into anything. A sense of not bumping against other things happens. You flow into everything. Still there will be disagreements. You can even lose your temper and yell at people. No problem. But deep inside you will be as calm as a Himalayan lake. One more question was there. So the direct answer to your question is because the isness is limitless. It's infinite isness. This person is limited.
So, how do you finally connect the dots when you die?
When you?
When you die.
Don't worry about that, because if you look at the isness, you don't die. What dies? Even forgetting Vedanta, if you look at life itself, if you notice, what exactly is dying? That which was born. What was born? The body. What dies? Clearly, the body. And say, no, Swami, the person dies. Do you have any proof of that? You cannot communicate with that person, obviously, because the medium of communication, the body is no longer available. But how do you know this person is dead?
How do you know the person is alive?
The person is, see, that's what we are talking about. If you look at pure consciousness, if you look at what we are talking about, consciousness, awareness, you see that there is no change in that awareness when the body changes from childhood to old age. There is no change in that basic awareness when the prana changes, when the mind changes. Birth and death are changes. Why would you say there will be a change in that awareness when the body dies or the body is born? That, I can give you a subtle logic also. What is the proof that this pure consciousness which you talk about, that it's never born, it never dies? It is a very subtle point, but I'll see what you make of it. Creation and destruction, birth and death are always this. The pure consciousness can never be regarded as this, and hence never subjected to creation, destruction, birth and death. What do I mean by this? Birth and death are always experiences which you can characterize as this. This birth, this child is born, this person is dead. The one experiencing that is never a this. A change is possible in the this. Another subtle point, these are all in this book itself. Suppose the pure consciousness dies, it's switched off somehow. How would you know? Who would know? What would know? Would there be any evidence of it? That the lights are switched off, what's the evidence? Your eyes. You can see the light on, light off, you can see with the eyes. Your eyes are open and closed, what evidence? Your mind. Mind is thinking, mind is not thinking. What evidence? The consciousness behind the mind, which is aware of the mind. The consciousness itself, if it changes, if it is born, if it is died, then what will see that? What will experience that? Because there is no other consciousness.
Happens then to
Again, you can see, happening is always in the realm of the this. There is no happening in pure consciousness. All happening is in the movie, not in the screen. You can enjoy that happening once you step back from the movie into the screen and let the movie go on. Enjoy all the happening. Okay, there are so many questions. Yes, there's a question. I'll come to you.
If the witness is consciousness, so is consciousness Brahman? I'm trying to get the connection. Witness,
Correct.
Consciousness, Brahman,
Witness is consciousness. Witness is equal to consciousness, is equal to Brahman, is equal to Atman. They're all the same reality. Yes, yes.
So to cultivate being, a being in the state of witness is...
The witness is consciousness being. Yes.
Becomes Brahman, Atman.
It is Brahman and Atman. It's all one reality. Different ways of speaking about it. Okay, there's one person at the end of the room. She's raised her hand. But that's the last question before we go into the meditation.
Pranam Guruji. My question is about meditation.
Yes.
So, when I meditate, I feel that I'm witnessing everything like you mentioned, like witnessing all the layers of my sheets of the body and mind and everything, all the 5 layers. But after a while, say after 15 minutes of meditation, I jump into my intellect, like, hey, it's over, it's 15 minutes, I have to go back to my work. I know
No, that's good.
Most of us, we experience that. Like we come back into a logical thinking or into understanding that I have to exit the meditation. If this is a good way to end the physical concept of meditation, like jumping up to intellect and then opening eyes, or is there any other way?
Again, I'm saying that this is a process of understanding, of knowledge. And meditation, which we will do now, is a way of abiding in it. But it does not mean you have to abide in it all the time. You can drive your car, you can go to the office, but once you've got it, it's available to you permanently and forever. So once in a while, you might feel like sinking into it and being there. Otherwise, all the time you can be active. Many of these enlightened persons were very active people. Kalyanananda, one of the disciples of Swami Vivekananda, if you go to the north of India, in Haridwar, we have a hospital. And this Swami, who was a disciple of Vivekananda, he started a hospital there. They had no money. He would beg for even his own food and for the medicines, and he would treat poor people who would collect off the streets to bring into the hospital. It was back-breaking work. And he worked from morning till night. But those who knew him quite closely, they knew all night long he meditated. So when did he sleep? He didn't need sleep. As an enlightened person, he would just remain centered in the self. They say people who are in deep samadhi don't actually need sleep. So he can be tremendously active. You can do everything. Your intellect can tell you, that's the purpose of the intellect. Intellect will tell you, okay, time up, meditation over, now you have to go back. Good, intellect has done its job, but remember, I am not the intellect. Intellect is just doing what it's paid for or not paid for. All right, let's go into the meditation. Stretch a little if you like. Sitting straight. Breathing normally. Keep your hands on your lap. Breathing normally. You're listening to my voice. Relax. Both legs, relax. Both arms, relax. Especially relax the shoulder and neck muscles. Upper body relax. Back and top of the head relax. Face relax. Unclench your jaws. Relax the eyeballs behind your eyelids. Breathing normally. Whole body relax. Note that you are in an ocean of existence. There is isness all around, being. The earth is. Ignore the earth, concentrate on the is. The sky is. Drop the sky and concentrate on the is. The wind is, the fire is, water is. Isness is primary. That isness, I am. Feel it within yourself, your own presence. Feel it in the body, your presence. Feel it in the breath. Feel your presence in thought. Feel your I am in the intellect. This I am is not confined to the body. In fact, the body and this room and this temple and the sky and the earth and the ocean are all waves in the ocean of existence which you are. Think, I am an infinite ocean of existence in which the entire universe is like a little boat. Imagine the Pacific out there in which a little boat is sailing. You are the ocean and the universe, including your body and mind, is a little boat sailing in you, on you. The boat sails as it will, sometimes well, sometimes not so well, sometimes rising, sometimes sinking. The ocean of existence which you are is not impatient. Let the boat do what it will. Sometimes the boat of life is going rather well, and other times not at all. You, the ocean of existence, you are not perturbed. Let's go deeper now. You are the infinite ocean of existence, and this universe is not a boat. It's a wave in you. It's one of your waves. The boat is essentially different from the ocean, but the wave is not different from the ocean. The whole universe, all its planets and stars and people, things happening, including your particular body and mind, it is a single wave which arises in you, the ocean, plays on its surface and disappears back again. Let waves come, the ocean gains nothing by it. Let waves subside, the ocean loses nothing by it. Birth comes, you gain nothing by it. Old age, disease and death comes, you lose nothing by it. You are the infinite ocean of existence. Success and failure, happiness and misery, you neither gain anything by it or lose. Let the waves play on. Let us go deeper. I am an infinite ocean of existence, waveless, calm, no waves. And the universe is mere imagination. There never was a universe, there never is, never will be. It is imagination, a dream. Eternally perfect, calm, formless. Thus do I abide. I will chant the Sanskrit. This is from Ashtavakra. Mai ananta maham bodho vishvabodha itastata brahmati swanta vatena namamastya sahishnata. I am an infinite ocean of existence, of being. The universe is like a little boat in me. It sails well or ill. I am not impatient. Mai ananta maham bodho vishvavichi svabhavata udetu vastamayatu name vriddhi navakshati. I am an infinite ocean of being, existence. The universe is a wave in me, this ocean. Let it arise, I gain nothing from it. Let it all subside and be destroyed, I lose nothing. Mai ananta maham bodho vishvam nama vikalpana ati shanto nirakara etadeva hamastita. I am an infinite ocean, waveless, calm. The universe is a figment of imagination. It never was. Thus, peaceful, formless, I abide from eternity to eternity. Chant Om 3 times. Slowly open your eyes, looking downwards. When you are ready, slowly